This, not the challenge we wanted today.
I think the rocks were left from outer space. They weren't from here.
Hey guys, welcome back to my house here on Lake Hopatcong in New Jersey. We are working on this awesome pondless fountainscape, just cool area. It's really never a good sign when that tool is on the job. We carved out the pooling area for behind this set of waterfalls that's coming in on the left side, and we've run into ledge rock. So this huge piece here is part of the island. Unfortunately, we found more of it. We're trying to get at least just this section here cut out, but then we've got a huge knob of it right there that we'd like to get a couple feet out of. I don't know that it's gonna work. We'll see what happens. We're gonna hit it hard with the jackhammer, try to break off some of it, but this stuff is extremely hard and it doesn't move very easily. So if it doesn't move, we're gonna have to make adjustments and reshape this area here. I really wanted to come closer into the patio with the stream, but if that ledge rock comes all the way back here, it's probably not possible. So we'll have to make adjustments going around it, hopefully chipping off enough so we can get our stream section cut in and then build our waterfall back into here. I want that waterfall to almost look like it's a continuation of the ledge rock. We'll have some dirt and some plants in between, kind of blurring those two lines so you don't see the liner and everything. But this, not the challenge we wanted today. But I got my best man Colby on it, so he's gonna give it a go. This thing kicked our butts today.
I think the rocks were left from outer space. They weren't from here.
Colby and I, well, mostly Colby, were jackhammering on these sections of rock today, and we only got like small portions of it out. I'm gonna make it work, and before you say like I should have got like a pneumatic drill and had it broken out and stuff, this is my house. Like, I didn't want to go through all the trouble of all that. We have a couple days to work here. I can't get a big drill across the ferry. Like, I've done heavy construction most of my life. I'm very well aware of how to get rocks out. We just tried to get out with this poor little electric jackhammer, and it did its best. But it's enough. It's enough. We're gonna make this work. We're able to get a good portion of this out so we can actually bring the pooling area closer to what this patio is. I'm gonna change directions on what I'm gonna do with this. I'm gonna go concave on this edge of patio. Then I'll have that circular section in the middle, and I'll go concave on this side. So it'll kind of be like two different types of curves meeting up with each other, which I think is gonna look really cool. And then I'll cap it off with some boulder work. Here, I'm cutting through here, gonna keep that rock work as close as I can to this ledge rock. We cut a big section out here. It's gonna be enough for me to get a frame rock in and then do some dirt work to kind of blend in that ledge into the rest of the patio. I'll probably have to drop something out here to kind of contain the liner. And then I can come right up the middle here and start my waterfall. But this was a total day killer. Colby and I spent 8 or 9 hours today working on two tiny little sections of rock. When I look at it now, I'm like, that's it? That's all we got done. But if you have a property where there's ledge rock that needs to be broken out to build a water feature, don't call me. Don't call me. I want nothing to do with it. It's a bad idea. Spend your money on something else. Go buy a nice car. I'm not doing that again. See you tomorrow. You know what's so cool about this here? This job is gonna take over a year to complete by the time I get up here in between everything else we're doing to actually work on this. But you're gonna get to see the whole thing come together in a matter of like 2 weeks when it's gonna take me over a year to build it. That's pretty neat. And I can look back at this video and remember stuff like this. That was a jackhammer bit. It broke right in half trying to get through this guy over here, but we got what we needed yesterday. First order of business this morning, we want to get this all cleaned up, and then we're going to get a layer of stone dust in here just as a protectant. Once we do that, we can start laying out our rock work coming off of what's going to be a waterfall right here. And then we've got to come together here to figure this out. Now I'm trying to jam a lot into this space here between the frame rocks for that next waterfall section and the crossing, and I really can't get a feel for it. I get everything laid out with the liner and start putting rocks in here. It's gonna probably take trying to find the perfect rock to make this happen. And I've got some, but not as many as I'd like. So we're gonna see if that actually happens today. Good friend of mine, Greg Whitstock, the pond guy, you guys might have seen him here on YouTube, has a huge channel, has a famous saying, I'm sure he's heard it somewhere, but he says the definition of hell is a life without problems, or a life without problems is the definition of hell. I disagree with that. If I had no problems, it wouldn't be a problem for me at all. My initial plan with the plumbing was I was going to bring it out of the vaults this way up to the wall and then just dig it in and bring it up there. Well, all this rock changed that plan for me. So in the spirit with changing gears, we went ahead and pulled the liner back and dug an excavation across the middle of our pooling area, because that's the only place we could dig. And now we're bringing the pipe up around what we've just unearthed, which is this huge piece of ledge rock. So we're gonna have to come up around here with our pipe and back over to feed our waterfalls. No big deal, just took a lot of hand digging because the machine, as you can tell by all these scratch marks, doesn't go through that rock. While we're doing our plumbing for the pumps, we're actually bringing the conduit for our electric over as well. We've got a sub panel up in the shed that we have to tie into. It's a whole nother story up there. Anytime you're excavating in a yard, whether it's your own or somebody else's, you can run across stuff that you just didn't even know was there. This was an old well line after about an hour and a half worth of investigating that was pulling water out of the lake for this house. This was just basically a lake bungalow that they pulled water out of the lake for back in the 40s and 50s. And that was what was feeding that. So this is all being abandoned. We had to find the actual well over there because we're gonna be digging through here to bring our power up to the shed. So these are all things you're gonna have to consider when you're doing any kind of project outside in the dirt, is what's in the ground, and you just never know. And these are all things that put a kink in your plan, right? Unfortunately, what that does is push the schedule back. So instead of us building streams and waterfalls today, we're doing infrastructure. It's stuff that had to get done. I wasn't expecting to be as time consuming as it has been, but that's what happens, right? I normally never do this, but I'm gonna show you guys what this looks like not fully finished. We got the one side running with that urn. It just looks awesome. I've got that 5,000 to 9,000 pump turned all the way up right now. It's just got a massive amount of water coming out the top of this urn. 8 feet from bottom to top. It's humongous. And then the walls behind it, we're using a 9PL, which is moving about 7,000 gallons an hour. This waterfall that's in front of it just looks incredible. I love low waterfalls like this, where it's just kind of got small little 4-inch drops, and then we're falling about maybe 12 inches into the reservoir. And then the way it's flanked on the left and right with all these outcropping stones, you can imagine when it's finished, like these soil pockets will be full of plants, lots of color all around this. We're gonna be putting trees in this whole landscape and really making it look like a finished garden. When we turned this on yesterday, there were boats just stacked up out here checking this thing out. And I just tripped the power because we're not set up to run both these pumps right now. We're drawing some big time amperage to make this happen. So let's reset everything and we'll go through it. We actually smoked the splitter that we had on there. We're putting a heavy duty splitter on. These pumps draw some definite power. So you have to run a super heavy extension cord if you're going to test these. This is a really thick gauge extension cord. Otherwise, it could actually fry the control panel for those 5 to 9s. Not meant to be run on extension cord for a long period of time. But back to this awesome water feature. So from the backside, we've accomplished what we were after with those stacked slate walls, having those columns of water surrounding the back of this urn. How cool is that? Now again, imagine when this is all landscape full of color and texture, and that's kind of built into it. Right now it sticks out by itself. When we bring it in with the plants, it's gonna look like a framed out part of the garden. We were able to get our staircase completely finished from the dock up to the top. How great does this look? I actually love this top stone that had like an eyelet in it, which looks really old. This is like a hammered metal. I left it in there because I just think it's a pretty cool piece. And we've got this exposed ledge rock that's just begging to have a waterfall in between, which is the plan when we come back. I want to build a pooling area in here. We're gonna have a waterfall presenting towards this patio, and I'm actually thinking about putting some patio bowls in, kind of spilling in as another accent piece. I want to leave this stuff exposed. I just love the look of it. I think it looks great. And again, once we plant around all this stuff, it's just gonna be an awesome garden. Now that I've broken my rule and showed you guys an unfinished water feature, well, partially finished, I guess, you're gonna have to come back to see this whole place come to fruition. It's going to be amazing. Hit that subscribe. We're building stuff like this all the time over here at Atlantis Water Gardens. Love to have you back. We'll see you on the next one.